The trials of the Emberlings. The first guardians of the flame were just regular people wanting to help out, even though they didn't really know what they were doing. Many of them had a tough time, and some even left to start their own groups. The High Brazier soon figured out they couldn't call themselves protectors if they were sending untrained folks into dangerous situations. It felt like a letdown and went against everything the flame stood for. So, they created the Trials of the Flame, or the Trials of the Emberlings. These trials were designed to teach every guardian what it meant to keep the flame alive. They learned about the flame of creativity, focusing on better ways to make tools and weapons, and the flame of the forge, which meant carrying humanity's hopes with them. The flame had many meanings, and the trials were meant to help them understand all of them. During the trials of the Emberlings, each recruit carried heavy blocks to prepare for the armor they'd eventually wear. The first challenge took place in the Kirin Yaga caves, where it was super hot and the walls sparkled with molten metal. They didn't just face the heat for survival, but to learn how to adapt. Since their armor would get really hot, only those who could handle the heat would make it through combat. For 3 days they had to sit, crawl, and meditate in that heat, all while lugging their weights. Water was hard to find and sleep didn't come easy. This trial showed who was tough and who wasn't. Next came the binding. Each recruit received an old or damaged piece of armor, bent plates and dented bits. Before relying on their suits, they had to really get familiar with them. They learned to forge and shape metal, fixing cracks and adapting to the forge's heat. If their armor failed during a fight, they needed to fix it themselves. It was all about being independent. Their armor was like a second skin, and they had to care for it. Then came the Night of Fire, a night unlike any other. For the first time, they ventured outside the walls, not in armor, but in regular clothes, just carrying a torch, their weights, and a guardian. They walked into wild areas, through ruins and dark woods. The goal was clear: show courage without their armor. The flame taught them that armor is just a tool. Real strength comes from within. Those who ran or hesitated were seen as unworthy, while those who stood strong against the eerie sounds of the night earned respect. The trial of pain was the toughest. A steep cliff called the Cliff of Smoke loomed behind the citadel of Kirin Yaga. Weighed down, the recruits had to climb it before noon. Their hands blistered and feet bled on the rough rocks. Some made it to the top, others were pulled back down. The flame only accepted those who rose to the challenge. Next, the trial by fire tested both body and mind. Recruits went through formation drills, one-on-one fights, shield tactics, and battlefield strategies. They learned from Amistan's teachings and how to defend against beast attacks, both solo and in groups. Instructors pushed them hard, training them until they collapsed, and then pushing them even more. This trial wasn't just about winning, it was about standing your ground. Finally, it was Oath Day. Those who made it, less than half of the original group, stood in the Hall of Embers. The High Brazier, the Flame Wardens, and the Great Brazier Flame were all there. One by one, they stepped forward, placed their hands on the anvil, and took their vow to protect humanity, remember the past, and walk like fire given form. Only then were their weights taken off. Only then could they wear the armor. From that moment on, they were no longer Emberlings. They became the guardians of the flame. The Story Crucible. Mechieval. Like, subscribe, and follow.